Hi, I'm Clever Pigeon, and welcome to my post-commentated speedrun of 31 unmarked games. Firstly, if you're from a marathon submissions committee, thank you very much for watching, and thank you for considering this game as part of your event. Now, I'll talk about what this game is, then we can begin shortly. 31 unmarked games is kind of like UFO 50 in format, although it came out before UFO 50. It's a small of Inktober-like project for the developer Droken, who made a game a day for the whole month of October 2023. And each of them are in here. 5 of them have a condition called a super win. The rest of them all have regular win conditions. And in this category, full clear, I'm going to clear all of them, starting from a new file, which loads up the games in a random order. So we'll get started now. First, you can just see me verifying for the leaderboard purposes. I'm deleting the data and any game covers I might have made. So we're starting from scratch. And you get to see more of what I mean by game covers in a moment. So I'm just going to let the game load, and then it takes a few seconds for the sound to start. And then time will start when I first move. Now. So, first game. This is game number 18. October 18th is actually my birthday. In this game, you have to wait for these flowers to sort of burst and then spawn new flowers from seeds that get scattered around, and then you have to pick up 64 of the flowers. And it's kind of like resource management, because you want to let them grow quickly. You want to let a lot of them grow so that you can get them efficiently, but also if you are not careful, too many of them can grow, and if there are too many of them like right next to each other, they will turn into red spiky plants. You'll see it start to happen. Like there. It only actually takes 2 to be in adjacent tiles for them to start doing it, and yeah, a whole bunch of them started doing it this run quite quickly. So there's an element of RNG to this game. It's quite a difficult one to do quickly. You can, of course, take it more cautiously, but when you're trying to do it fast, you've got to take risks sometimes. You did see just before this my little cursor hand pop into the mailbox on the virtual desktop and get a cassette. The games in this are presented as like little unmarked cassettes, hence the name 31 unmarked games. And you drag each of those cassettes and then take it out of its cassette box and put it in a cassette player, and then you play the game. And in a minute, once I'm done with this, having to be a little more careful in the last bit of this this round of this game. Once I'm done with this, you can see what happens after you're done with the game. So deciding to wait it out here because I know that those 2 down there are going to turn into spiky plants, and also if I were to go down there and get them, I wouldn't be able to get back up. Luckily, I got good spawns off of that plant exploding. Almost lost it all there, but we're good. So then you put it back and you get to decorate your cassette box with stickers. The first one you have to put a sticker on, so I just put one on real quickly. And then the rest it doesn't force you to, so I'm just gonna drop them on the desktop. Game 2 comes next in this. You gotta get keys, ride on bikes, go through these little entrances and exits. Kind of like a subway system. And open up the way to the exit. You can go around and use all 4 keys and explore the map more, but we don't have to, and this is quicker. You'll notice as well that the whole virtual desktop system has a made-on date as well, and we'll get to that soon. 21, kind of tricky until you figure out the sort of way it wants you to do it. So you're fencing, the best way to do it is to just sort of push this guy to the edge and then 2 big ones to finish him off. And you win. What's up next? 13. Oh, this is one of the most involved ones, and I had some help making a map of this from Joken, from the developer himself. So thank you to him, because I wouldn't be able to do this quite as well without him. What's going on here is that I'm going around and collecting these gems, and in the various cave entrances and exits, there are snakes hidden around, as well as some of them like that in the center of some of the rooms. And I'm taking a very, very specific path that I've memorized here in order to do this without dying. Some snakes behave differently, they lunge straight at you like that. Some of them are a bit more lenient. But this is a very specific path that I've memorized. There's very little deviation that I can do from it without dying. And it took quite a bit to get this down, honestly. So this is one of the games with a super win condition. Actually, you'll see me get 2 ticks instead of 1. The regular win condition is to just pick up 10 gems, and those can be any gem. But the super win condition is picking up those 3 blue gems and then a purple crystal gem that we're going to go and get now. And you've got to do those. You've got to do the 3 blue ones and then the purple one, because it's the solution to this super win is actually hidden in another super win game, which is game 9. We'll get to that, but there you go. There's 13. What comes up now? 7. In game 7, you are the gourmand, and you eat textures. So you eat textures in groups of 3, and if you eat too many of the same groups of 3 textures, you lose your appetite, and you lose, and you have to start again. Also, if you eat too many rocks, you will also lose and have to start again. So this is just me figuring out a path through to go and get the win condition, which is to eat the grail at the end. There might well be faster paths through that one, but that one works and is not too difficult. Always room for better strats, I suppose. Ooh, game 5 now. So survive 5 waves. You've got this like oil bucket that follows you, but it follows you kind of lazily, so you have to get a good run up in order to actually have the oil throw in the direction you want it to. You've got to be careful controlling it. And you've got to defeat 5 waves of these ink creatures, or oil creatures, I guess. And they, as they walk, spread the oil around the stage. And where the oil is, you get slowed down by it. And it also will spread off your footsteps as well. You'll notice there's a little bit of a border around this one that's the same color as like the rest of the game window. That is also oil, so if you are a little too uncareful and you step outside the bounds, you get oil on your feet and you start spreading it around and you get slowed down a lot. So got to be careful with this one. Just finishing them off here. They tend to come in like horizontal lines. They're not too difficult to avoid once you get the hang of it, but not the easiest. Quite fiddly. But there's game 5. Game 4. Okay, this one is also super winnable. You get this gun that propels you backwards, like that, when you shoot it. And the super win condition is to not destroy too many rocks in the natural rock formation. So I only broke one. You can do it without breaking a single one, but one is fine. I tried to hit that last block to like save a little bit of time with the scrolling text, but I missed. Doesn't matter that much. Only a few seconds. Game 1. Okay, you are someone who is allergic to flowers, and you have to walk through without losing all of your stamina, because if you lose all of your stamina, you can't move anymore. And it's not too difficult once you know the path. You can use the sneezes to help propel you backwards a little bit. Game 17. This one's quite tough. This one is also one of the super winnable. So you have 2 HP in this one, and there are these dog-like monsters that chase you. And if one of them touches you, you lose your head. And if one of them then touches you again, it eats your body, and you lose, and you have to start again. The super win is hard because you have to pass through this enemy that makes you lose your head. You bleed out for a bit, and I have to hold right here, you see, because otherwise I would just start walking uncontrollably. And then that's quite a precise jump to be able to make it through that run without getting caught by the enemy running behind me. Then I just wait for this one to jump over. They do move fairly predictably, which is good, but it's still quite precise. But there's the super win for 17. Ah, 29. See, there you go. The win condition for 29 is just putting a tape down. So I go and do that. 27. 27 is quite a fun one. You've got to get these 4 like floating dots that are also this guy's head. And you can dig around this cave system, but you can't actually see everything. So I just know a set path that I follow to dig through the system. And it's kind of funny, because if you pick up more than 1 dot at a time, the guy's got more than 1 head. Got more than 1 head. There you go. $22. Okay, good. In game 22, you are this cat, and there are these like staticky clouds and these coins, and you've got to get 10 coins to win by jumping across the clouds that hold you in place, like that. But you've got to be careful, because if you hit the ground after you jump, these blue things come and like try to steal coins from you, and another one will show up if I hit the ground again. So 10 coins is the win. I do like to go for like 12 or 13, just in case you land directly in one of the creatures and they take your coin, because you can have 10, land, immediately lose 1, and then have to go and get more. So I got 13. Got 1 taken, but I still had enough. What's next? What's next? The fun little lottery. Game 14. So this one, there's like poison quicksand. Gotta grab some more purple crystal gems in this little platformer. This one is not too difficult. It's also one of the only multi-level ones. Yeah, it's not too tough until the last level, though, because the last level is just the most tricky platforming-wise. So, sink down, can spam jump to hit back up. Anything, and now this is the tough one. I used to try a shortcut here until I realised how to control the little guy better. And now actually it's more consistent without the shortcut. Doing the shortcut was really difficult. Thankfully, I mean, overall it saves time not to do the shortcut, because the shortcut you're probably going to mess up at least once. Well, I still messed that up once, it's still hard. So, I'll take the consistency. But there you go. That is, that's that one. On to the next. 28. Win condition for this one. Take the cassette out and slide it forward. A little hard to remember what's going on when you get presented with the same menu screen you've just been on. Oh, 31. 31 is fun because it's the credits. And you have to sort of hike down them. The little guy has fall damage as well. So if you can't just fall down, for example. You got to go climbing properly. At the beginning of this, you saw I fell because I lost my grip on the funky collision of one of the letters, and he hit his head. So yeah, one of the things that's really interesting about this game is that basically none of it happens outside of the Drocktober challenge. So as you can see, the menus are made within the challenge itself and form some of the quote-unquote unmarked games. So did the credits. Basically everything is quite neatly self-contained. And nearly done here. Down there, controls can be a little bit finicky because the collision on the letters is quite precise. And the end, but not really. Just the end of that one. What's next? 30. 30 is quite difficult. You play as this smiley face. I always kind of imagined it as a balloon that's on a high-heeled boot. And it's kind of like Jump King in the way it operates. You can charge different levels of jump and different levels of how far side to side you're going. And you've got to make it to the end. This is quite difficult to figure out and get consistent. So I do play it fairly safe, especially towards the end here, where it could be quite easy to bonk on one of the steps in front of you and just fall all the way down to the bottom. This is quite a fun one to figure out. A little bit annoying though. I will be honest. But once you've got it down, fun to execute. Okay, where are we going next? 23. So 23, you're this little guy, you pick up batteries, you run around. If you run out of battery, you can't move anymore. You're like slow to a stop. If you spam really fast, you can move at basically top speed without actually needing to go and get as much battery. So you can save a little bit of time that way. Oh, 15, you can turn big or small and destroy buildings. You can actually just leave off any side, so I just leave straight off the left and win. Looks like you've got to go off the end of the road, but no. Number 3 is really difficult. This is like Pac-Man, but you're cutting out the maze itself with your like edge trimmers. So in come the ghosts, and I've got to turn. I didn't turn enough there, evidently. There's a bit of luck involved as well, ghost RNG. But so when the ghosts come in, you've got to hope for some decent spawns. They all spawn in roughly the same place every time. But you'll see as they come in, I start turning because it seems to increase the chance for them to turn back around if I turn around a corner as they spawn. So I've got to be careful with this because I want to keep the ghosts a decent distance away from me. But also, if they just follow me down a straight path, they will catch up to me. So I've got to make enough diversions for them to like start going in loops or something. And I also want to minimize the wasted hedge space because it can be fiddly to start cutting again from somewhere else if you run out of hedge to use. I didn't quite get it there. We go again. Yeah, I have worked quite extensively on figuring this one out, but unfortunately, it just can't work out every time. It's a tough one. So yeah, I dig a little bit of space there to attempt to distract the ghost. It didn't work. I got quite lucky though because he turned around that time. And again, because he turned right instead of following me down that path. Yeah, so there is RNG to deal with in some of these games. Some of them you can't always just execute the same and win every time. And I cut it a bit fine, but I just about made it to the end of how much hedge I had to cut. Oh, 10. Speaking of RNG, you're one of these little guys, and you've got to get this weird bird thing to throw you across the gap. But it doesn't always succeed in doing so. Like, it dropped him, for example. Thankfully, it managed to throw me across properly. But sometimes, like, you can go 3 or 4 goes and it just won't grab you properly. It's a funny little thing, that bird. 16, sharks in the water. You're like a backpacker. So I'm going to bait that shark into going over there, cross over the top. Then there are 2 more sharks. I'm going to bait this one over here, and then I'm going to bait both of them over to the left so that I can cross this big gap without having to worry about them too much. And that seems to be the most reliable way, at least the best way I've discovered to do it. I'm going to try and walk on these, like, pixely, like, I guess, tiles of reed in the water here. So you do actually move slightly faster on those shallower bits of water. And then you get through here and you win. Drop this one off. 10 left. Oh, this one's time-based. So this one reads your system clock. It tells you to get to a certain gate in the airport by a certain time. And if the time passes, the gate closes. So I reset a few times to get a good one that I'm happy with. And then I go there. I thought, okay, I'll take 153. Hopefully it's not too early in 152. And then, silly me, I went to the wrong gate because I remembered 23 instead of the actual one I was 22. But thankfully, I was only 1 off. I didn't lose that much time. Once it turned 153, which thankfully it did pretty quickly, I realised my mistake and caught my flight. Yeah. Not so much RNG, that one. Well, I guess it is. It's just got to keep an eye on the time, really. Game 8. I think this is the first one I ever got when I first played this. So you're this climber, but there are like hidden skulls moving around. You can see some of the cliff face jittering, and that's where they are. And if you get too close to them, they'll try and catch you and kill you. So I'm going to wait, and I got pretty good luck with this one because it moved out of the way of the exit. There's one that tends to lurk around where I am now. I sort of fall across that gap. Just a nice way to do it. Okay. It's coming up now. Game 9, which I mentioned so long ago. So there are various puzzle solutions based on the different things you pick up on the side. And for the super win for this one, you just get one that marks off 2 ticks. And it's actually easier to do that, in my opinion, than to get to the end the normal way and do the regular win condition. 12, you just gotta leave that screen to win. That's all the menu ones done. 19, there's this gap in the fence. You're this bull, and you do get occasionally fed by an off-screen farmer, but you want to break out and eat as many delicious flowers as you can. It's not intended, but you can actually beat this without breaking out, which I did in my casual playthrough because I could not figure out how to get out. So I ended up doing it the hard way. Thankfully, I don't have to do that because there's a lot of luck involved in that. Hoping you get fed quick enough. Doing it the proper way is way easier. 25. This one's tough, and it's quite tense as well. So you move really slowly. You can't see a lot of stuff around you. You're in these narrow corridors, and elsewhere in these corridors is an alien. represented by that red square on the map. At each computer terminal, you can see the map, and you've got to go and activate all of them in order to win. And if the alien gets too far away from you, you can't see it on the map anymore. So there's a bit of luck involved, a bit of attempting to read the alien's movements, and it's quite costly if you fail this one, because you move so slowly. But it is kind of funny to watch him like saunter along. He looks kind of jolly, like he's bobbing up and down. All right, I think only one more is up here. Sweet, and we win. I do thankfully have a pretty decent grasp by now on the layout of that map, so I know where the alien can cross from side to side or up and down. 6 is another one with a super wing condition. I messed up and hit my head there. And it looks like I'm going to go to the super wing condition straight away here, but this secret hidden flagpole is actually not a super wing condition. This one will just give you a regular win, like the one at the right end of the map that the game expects you to go to. You've actually got to jump over this one, which it kind of looks like you can't do, and go to this one next to the castle, and just plow right into it and get the super win. 3 more. 26. 26 is a fun one. You have this like mirror image, and when you press the action button, you swap places with your mirror image. So you can use that for some funky shortcuts. Sometimes the spawning of the mirror image is a little weird. Not totally consistent every time. Yeah, and then at the end, he gains control of himself and walks off. I tried to spawn him a little further, closer to the steps. I have spawned him like once or twice right by the steps as well, but not consistent. 11. 11 is a really tough one. This one causes me a lot of problems. So you can only face right. You have to throw lollipops onto these ghosts' tongues. If a ghost has its tongue out and it touches you, it'll kill you. Their movement is kind of tough, and then a bunch of them spawn at once in a few places. But thankfully, when you kill 10 of them, they all get scared off. So that actually went really well this time. I've had big problems with that one before. Okay, so time will be when the last tick comes up, when I win the last game. This one is a sort of puzzle. Swapping things over and going out the exits leads to different places on each side of the forest. There are also some trees that you can walk through, like this. And time. Yeah, and then once you leave the forest, that's the end of that game. And that being the last game, that was indeed time. Coming back here to my desktop, your games will stay where you leave them. And there you go. That is 31 unmarked games, all clear. And thank you very much for watching and listening to my post-commentary on that run. Again, if you are from a submissions committee, thank you very much for considering 31 unmarked games for your event. And if you're just watching for the fun of it, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it entertaining. I hope you found it interesting. And shoutouts to Droken, the developer of 31 unmarked games. I've had a lot of fun with it, put quite a bit of time into working it out. It's quite unlike any other speed games I've done before. But yeah, I've enjoyed my time with it. Yeah, I believe that's everything from me. So yeah, I've been Clever Pigeon. This has been 31 unmarked games, all clear. Thank you very much.